going? I am. I'm sorry. It's way later in the day than I thought it was going to be. Whenever I thought I was going to be able to do this like maybe at 2 or 3 p.m. on a Friday. Here it is, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm doing a live. So there's a few things I want to update everybody on. One is that the Convergence, um, the transformative event that Rob Linfesti and I are doing, we have finally finalized all the information, and the Convergence is live for signups. So the Convergence is going to be essentially, it is a process of an event, and basically it is. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun, right? I mean, but it is also something to approach with, hey, you know what? There's a part of me, or there's multiple parts of me that maybe I don't like any, and maybe there's certain parts of me that are not serving me, something that I want to, there's baggage I need to get rid of, whatever it is. What we're going to be doing in the Convergence is we're basically going through the process systematically of just letting that go. And actually the beginning of the Convergence, just to not to give too much away, but the beginning of the Convergence is literally a funerary ceremony, a funeral ceremony for some aspect of yourself that you're like, you know what, this is when I'm going to let go of that. This is when I'm going to let myself, or let a part of myself just completely die. I'm going to remove this aspect because this is not serving me anymore. This is not something I want to be. Hey, weird entity. Nice to have you here. This is such a weird thing because I'm on the road, and I can't get my laptop to work with the hotel Wi-Fi. So I'm doing this with my cell phone. So hey, we're gonna make it happen. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. So I can't stay too long on here because I've got to eat some food because I'm hungry. But I want to talk a little bit about the Convergence. If you have questions, let me know. The Convergence is going to be in July. And let's see, I believe it's, oh man. So I forget exactly when it is. Oh man, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. But anyways, the Convergence is going to be in July. Check out my, on my page. If you check out my announcements, you can take a look at the Convergence, at the cost. All the food is catered. So we're going to feast. We're going to sweat. We're going to freeze. We're going to breathe. We're going to do other things that I'm not even going to tell you about because they're sort of kind of special. But it is something, there's going to be multiple challenges. There'll be ways to learn new modalities. You'll come out of it healthier, happier, stronger. And the goal is to come out of it with a new vision and a new overall outlook. So that's what we're designing. And so Rob and I, we sat down last weekend. I was in Mandala Springs, and so Rob and I, we made sure, okay, before I left North Carolina, let's get this stuff down so that I can put it up. So it's up on Eventbrite. We're only taking 25 people. So we could open this up to like 50 people. There's enormous amount of space at Mandala Springs, but we want this to be something really special. We want people who are going to be doing this to be people who are actually really dedicated. So we're just limiting it to 25 people. I just opened it yesterday. We've already sold 4 tickets. So it's something, if you want to get in on and you're serious about it, okay? Don't just buy a ticket and say, maybe I'll do it. This is something where it's like, we're going to have an enormous amount of fun. We're going to sing. We're going to, have feasting and fellowship and fun and all these things. But we're also going to be working on ourselves as well. There's really a focus on self-work, on becoming the best version of you that you can be. And so that's primarily what we're doing with the Convergence. So that is happening in January, I have been driving too much today. It's happening in July, and I want to say it's the later part of July. But take a look at at my page. I don't yet have it up on my website, because we just literally put it out there. My people in my Patreon, they got first dibs. as the Patreons are one to do. But basically, it is open now. There are 21 seats left or spots left. Camping is included. You do need to bring your tent, so bring a tent, bring camping supplies. The wood is free, and the food is already included. So literally, like, all you need is sleeping stuff. And then in addition to that, there's going to be like fruit elixirs and all kinds of like really awesome snacks that you can buy for extra. So a lot of awesomeness in that. So we're doing that in July. And then also, just so you guys know, this month is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month. So cystic fibrosis is a condition, actually, what brought this to my awareness, because I wasn't even really that aware of it. But a friend of mine, his son has cystic fibrosis. And cystic fibrosis is a condition that is a genetic condition, and it literally will crystallize your lungs. And there's been an enormous amount of research, and this is one of those where it's not a big, like a really big industry type of research. There's a lot of fundraising that needs to go on. And so basically, I felt like what better thing to do to help raise awareness and and also raise some money for cystic fibrosis research. What better way to do that than with breath work, right? What better community than those people who are really serious about breath work and utilizing the breath to become healthier, happier people? What better way to do that than through breath work? So we're going to, on the 29th, so May 29th is a Saturday night. Actually, I think it's May 28th. Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to eat? I think I'm just really hungry. May 28th, we're going to be doing a free. It's free. There's no like cover charge, but basically it's going to be a guided breathwork session, and it's the Pulmonauts. So the Pulmonaut Collective, you've already seen them on my channel twice. We are going to be doing a guided breathwork session, deep guided breathwork session. And you are free to, and I'll have a link that night, and you're free to donate as much or as little as you like, or you don't have to donate anything at all if you don't have anything to give. But we would ask that, hey, the whole goal here is to help this little boy. And, he's the cutest little kid. My friend's son, and it's not just for him though. It's for anybody and everybody in this world that has cystic fibrosis, it is a genetic disease that right now there's not a lot of options. So this is just simply to donate to the fund for research, and that's coming up it'll be May 28th. So Friday, May 28th. I'll be sending out some more information about that. So definitely watch for that. Let's see. Moose Mans, please do a video giving those who can't come a taste of what happens at the Convergence. Yeah, I will do that. We're going to try to make sure we document it very well, Moose Mans. Because what we're going to try to do with the Convergence is make it an annual thing. So this will be the inaugural Convergence. So if you guys would like to be at the very first Convergence and say, hey man, I was there when that thing got started, make sure to sign up. Of course, obviously, it needs to be a successful event in order for us to make it an annual event. So please help us with that, and obviously, do yourself a favor too. But Moose Fans, no worries. You'll get a little peek. You're not, there's only so much that we can share, because a lot of it is going to be like it'll be in environments that you just can't really take a camera into, or it'll be like at nighttime and things like that. So we're going to do our best to kind of give you all an idea of what happens at the Convergence. But hey, if you want to see firsthand, come on out to the Convergence and check that out. This is me just kind of letting you know what's going on right now, because I wasn't able to check in last week because I was traveling. This week is a travel week as well. So it's just been kind of crazy. And so the Convergence is coming up. Tickets are selling. There's only 25 available spots. So if you're interested in it, or if you think you might be interested in it, either reach out to me or Rob for questions. Or reach out to me if you're looking for this. If you're looking for the sign up link and you just can't find it, reach out to me. I'll send it to you. Soon it will be available at jessecoomer.com. It is already available if you go to my landing page on YouTube. You go to the my announcements page, and it's there. It's one of my most recent announcements. And then it's also something I'm going to have on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. It's at i.am.jesse.coomer, or you can go to my landing page and just click on the little thing and it'll take you there. So that Convergence is coming up. Andy, are you coming? I see you said you can't wait. Hopefully I'll see you there. And then again, coming up even sooner than that is the fundraiser for cystic fibrosis. And guys, I'm going to broadcast it live on this channel. It's going to be also broadcast live in multiple places. We might actually just do a major event where we do it with like Air Meet, or if it'll possibly be an Eventbrite thing where you get a ticket and then you come to the event. But it's free to go to it. It's just basically we're hoping any monies that you can give, you give to donate to research for cystic fibrosis, because that is a really tough disease. And like I said, my friend, his son has it, and they do everything possible. Like, it's one of those things where, if there's anything that might work or might help, they do it. And it is a full-time job. And so if there's any way we can do research to help find a cure for cystic fibrosis, I think it's a great cause. So, and what better way, to help those who can't breathe than a breathwork session? Breathe for those who can't breathe. That's kind of the name of the game. In addition to that, guys, if you go to jessecoomer.com, the new cohort of the 6-week breath mastery course is open. We just opened that up. So the next cohort starts June 16th. So that's when we start live classes. And if you haven't done this yet, some of you guys have already done the 6. You've done it before. I'm only on my third one. Some of you guys might be on the current 6-week breath mastery course. The 6-week breath mastery course is a school. Basically, it is a school. If you want to learn everything you need to know about how, not only why breathwork works, what's going on, but here's the thing. Whether you like it or not, you're doing breathwork. Like, no matter how you go about your day, your breathing is either making you miserable or making you blissful. And it's something that it's more than just sitting there for 15 minutes doing one style or one technique or this or that. In fact, most people, including myself, start with techniques, and ultimately we lean into those techniques and we practice them. But practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So what I see, a lot of my clients, right, people that pay me much more than what it costs to go to the 6-week breath mastery challenge. We're calling it a challenge now. But what I see is I have to undo a lot of the things that they've done because they've been practicing breath work really vigorously and they're really into it. But because they didn't understand their own physiology, which is different, right? Yours and mine, we might have exactly the same responses. Maybe we don't. And so because they don't really fully understand everything, they're practicing really hard. They're not seeing the progress they think they're seeing. And then they've made maladaptations and they've actually hurt their breathing more than they've helped it. And so this happens all the time. And with breath work on the rise, with breath work kind of becoming something that's more accepted in this world, yes, I see it more, because for every good voice in breath work, there's like 50 like weird things, and even the good voices, a lot of times a person will just get it wrong, and it's not your fault. It's like, okay, we have to learn how our own physiology works. So what we're going to be doing, what we do, and if you're in the 6-week breath mastery course, let people know what you think, because what this is, it's kind of hard. A lot of times it's hard to convey what it is, because people are like, well, I don't want a basic class. This is not just simple, like, I'd like to learn a few techniques so that I can relax or something. This is a deep dive. In fact, I will be certifying breath workers under my name. And that's going to be the first class will be next year. More on that later. But in order to get into, just in order to apply to my breathwork certification program, you have to go through the 6-week breath mastery course. And that's because it's such a deep dive. So you learn things like a lot of things, not just about not just textbook things, because a lot of people are like, well, this does this and this does that and this does this and this. The reality is we're all so different that we have to learn how to listen and how to test our own physiology and how to test these things. And what's interesting is so much of the time people when we actually start doing the tests, I'll say, okay, do a technique that you believe give you this result. And people will do that technique and they're like, oh yeah, this is definitely. And then through testing, a lot of times people find out, oh wow, this isn't doing anything like what I thought it was going to be doing. And what happens is this is for multiple reasons, right? And we go into all the reasons. I don't have time right now. I got to get some food here in just a minute because I'm hungry. But we meet every week for 2 hours. And over 6 weeks, that is 12 classroom hours. And it's not just me reciting and downloading a bunch of information into your brain. We do experiments on ourselves because I honestly don't know how every technique will affect you. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you're a breath worker, you've published, you've got a very good selling book and all this stuff. It's like, why wouldn't you know how it works for me? Because we don't come off of an assembly line. And in the West and in the East, everywhere, we all want to think that like we're just walking around as like identical robots, and it's just not the way it works. So what we do in the 6-week breath mastery challenge, we're calling it a challenge because course, I don't know. We're trying to figure out how to best convey this thing. But in the 6-week breath mastery challenge, what we're doing is essentially breath school. And people are like, well, I've taken, Wim Hof's online class and I've read The Oxygen Advantage, and yeah, that's awesome. But what we do is I'm not teaching you the Jesse Coomer method or technique or whatever. I'm teaching you deep breath work. So basically, the cool thing is you get an opportunity to really understand yourself. You get understand a deep understanding of breath work without having to read like textbooks and things like that. I just go straight to this is what's that. Okay, this is what you want to look at here, and then check this out, and then okay, this now whenever this is okay, this all right. So I don't know if that made much sense, but basically the whole goal here is so that you don't have to. I mean, you can still do everybody else's techniques. The thing is, I want to help people to break the paradigm of being a technique collector, right? Techniques are great, but they only work if you understand how to implement them. It's like I give the example a lot of times of a car. Yeah, cars are awesome, and you can have like a sports car, like a Lamborghini or whatever. But if you don't know how to shift gears, right? If you don't actually know how to operate it, you might be like, look at my awesome car, right? It's like, look at this awesome technique, right? You can point to all the tests they've done, and you can say this goes from 0 to 60 in, 0.0 whatever seconds. But if you don't actually know how to use it, you're not actually getting anything out of having a Lamborghini. And so what I do is in the course, I teach you how to use this amazing miracle that is your respiratory system, and how to test and how to gauge and how to know, is that technique actually doing what you think it's doing? And then also, well, let's either see if we can make it work, right? And I give you some tweaks that you can use, or maybe you should use this other technique, and and I give you cueing and all these other things. So anyway, so that is that. And let's see. Okay, I've got some comments here. Andrew, I loved my weekend. Oh, Andrew was there. That's right. You were there, brother. Yes, man. The food is good, man. And it's the same. So for the Convergence, Andrew, it's Deanna. She is cooking again. And So whenever I'm out there, I stay in the same house where she cooks, and I'm just saying, like, every meal tastes so good. Um, let's see. So, Amy, I think I did this trying to learn on the internet. Yeah, you can learn. There's a lot of things you can learn on the internet, and there's a lot of things that you can get for free, and I'm all for that. But when it comes down to it, ultimately, it's kind of like getting a diet out of a magazine or a workout plan out of a magazine. There's probably nothing wrong with that. And but like, for instance, like, if you get a workout plan, there's so much more than just bench press, and different kinds of bench press, all the techniques, all the different lifts you need to do. Awesome. That's fantastic. But there's technique, there's form, there's how your body works. And, there's differences. And if you're a guy with long arms like me, you understand some of these things too. Oh my God, my son is watching. Well, hello, Mala. I don't know. Should I? This is the internet. I don't know if I want to give away your name. I'm gonna go. Hey, Mal, how's it going? My wonderful, beautiful son. I miss you already. This is gonna turn into and so I'm hungry and I miss my family. So this will turn into. Actually, on my last live, I was feeling down, and I want to thank everybody for reaching out to me, because I was going through a real funk. And honestly, here's what happened. So I was really down, and a lot of you guys reached out, and I cannot tell you how much it really did mean to me. It really did mean a lot to me. And let me tell you this, and this is something my wife can attest to, and you don't need to go on and on about it. But it is true. It turned out that a friend of mine had died, and it was as a guy who was very, very influential in my youth. And so he was in his 80s. It was one of those types of things where his last year or two were really rough. And so it was one of those things where we know that in a way it's a relief when we die, when we're in those awful states. And I did not realize just how much it was affecting me. And when I went to the showing and I saw him there, I just was bawling, man. I was bawling like a baby. And it was good. It was good. It was therapeutic. It was cathartic. I just cried. I broke down, my eyes just squeezing out all kinds of tears. And it was really good for me because it allowed me to process those emotions. Your emotions, you do not want to ignore them. It's important to maintain a degree of what we talk about is we domesticate our emotions, but that's not saying that you don't feel, right? That's not saying that you don't acknowledge them. And again, with breath work, we work to maintain and to ultimately adjust our state. So let's see here. P. Haggerty, Paul in Tampa, Florida. What it is, JC? Hey, brother. Oh, man. Awesome, P. Yeah, P. Haggerty. Yes, I would love to meet you face to face and call you something other than P. Haggerty. I'll call you Paul. Maybe I'll call you P. Haggerty. Is that we've gotten to know each other over this? Oh my God. So let's see here. Let's see. And so Andrew, thank you so much. And Andrew says it's a great course. I've learned so much about my own personal breath work. Plus you can meet other students. That's the cool thing. The way we've set this up, I'm glad you mentioned that, Andrew. The way we've set up the breath mastery course, I mean, you are in a cohort. So what this is the people, it's not like your people are coming in and out. It's different than like if you take an online course and it's all pre-recorded. I'm going to work on a pre-recorded one because I know that some people prefer that, but really because it's live, because you're taking an actual class with me every week and you have homework, by the end, it's interesting. And Andrew can attest to this. He's going through it right now. When it comes down to it, you are at the beginning, everybody's doing the same homework, right? So everybody's doing the same homework because it's all at the beginning, we're learning a lot about how everything works, how a lot of the basics about the way the human body works and your autonomic nervous system, your physiology, how it all connects, and why breath work does what breath work does. And your goal is to experiment with some things. You have certain kinds of homework. But Andrew, I can guarantee, Andrew, you're not doing the same homework that everybody else is doing right now. By the time that like right now we're in week 5 of this current cohort. And once it starts, nobody else is allowed in. It's the same group of people all 6 weeks. Okay, so it's not this. It's really a cool thing. It's something that again, every time I create something, it's something that I wish existed, but it doesn't. So you know what? Hey, I'm going to make it, right? That's why I wrote the book that I wrote, A Practical Guide to Breath Work. Plug. But that's literally why I wrote it, because I was like, why isn't there a book that just like breaks it down pretty easy and like, has some techniques, it has the reasons why, it has some things that are really important, and a person can take it as deep as they want, or if they don't want to go super deep, they don't have to. That's why I wrote that book. But that's why we're doing the 6-week breath mastery class, because there's really nobody else doing this. It's literally breath school. And this next cohort is the last time it's going to be. It's only $399 to get in, so it's basically $400, right? So we always do we got to do those marketing things, right? $399, right? It's $400. Okay, if you're asking me, a Midwesterner, what $399 is, it's $400. But basically, this is the last time we're going to do it for that price. It is going to go up after this particular cohort, just because I'm having a lot more demand on my time. So we have a lot of reasons why we have to raise the price. So, but basically this next one is still the $399. So, and it's 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know a lot of people in the United States had some problems with our past 2 cohorts because it was 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the West, like Pacific Standard and all those other things, it'll be in a decent time for you to take it. And of course, just like we're doing now, if you can't make it to the actual class sessions, we record all of them, and then you have access to the recordings forever. So absolutely, like, there's usually how it works this time. I think we have usually we get about, out of all the people that signed up for this past one, I forget exactly the number, but we usually get maybe 20 to 25 people regularly for the live session. And then, I don't know, basically everybody else watches it on the recording. So if you can't make it to all of them, it's not a big deal. But the cool thing is, if you do make it to them, it's 2 hours with me. And you ask questions. We do Q&A every single time. Throughout the cohort, you can send me emails and ask about specific things that we talked about during the lecture, and then I can cater the lecture to everybody's needs. Like, for instance, one of the guys that is in the current cohort, he's wanted to raise his CO2 tolerance, and he wanted to improve his digestion. He had some irritable bowel syndrome and things like that. So we've worked a little bit more in that direction. We've catered more to that goal. Of course, there's a lot of different goals that people have. And as we get to know each other, it's really kind of cool. We get to know, okay, and there's certain people that will speak up more than other people. It's always fun. So that starts June 16th. So between now and then, you can sign up. 10 days before June 16th, you get bonus material. So it's an app. So you sign up. It's an app that you can use on your phone, or you can use it on your computer. It's super easy. Everything's right there for you, and you can access it, forever. You always have access to it. I think my family, they've gone to dinner because they haven't responded at all. But that's okay. That's okay. My little man needs to eat because he is a growing boy. Guten Tag, Beckelbeck. I would love to come to Frankfurt. When I was in Poland last year, I realized just how much I actually really enjoy practicing German. It's just that I don't have anybody to practice German with here in the United States. Ich spreche nur wenig Deutsch. And really, it's one of those things where I don't even know, let's see, I guess, Yeah, the problem is since I took German in high school, I married into Spanish speakers. So I get all of my I mix all the foreign languages that I know words to, I mix them all up. And so it's like, ¿Dónde es el toiletten? Which makes no sense at all. It's like part Spanish and part German, and all not good. But thank you for the thumbs up. Dankeschön. Ich habe Hunger. Ich habe Hunger. Ich habe Hunger, 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 Hunger. Oh man. So that means I'm hungry. I know a few things. I know how to say the really important things. I am hungry, beer, let's see. I guess I can say ein Kuli, right? It's a pen. If I need to sign my name, I've got a. Or is that pencil? Kugelschreiber, or I don't know. I'm gonna stop while I'm not that far behind. I'm not ahead, but I'm gonna stop now. But yeah, Beckelbeck, just so you know, I mean that's a lot of my heritage over there. So I have some not too distant in my family came directly over from Deutschland. So hey, Satish. Let's see, Satish, you got a question? Then I'm going to have to go get some food, guys. But I wanted to mention those three big things because they're big things, and I haven't been able to do a live. And literally, I'm probably killing the battery on my cell phone right now. But yeah, the three big things. If you're here in the United States, or if you're not, hey, if you really want to make it over here for this, that's awesome. We'd love to have you. But if you're here, Mandala Springs, the Convergence is coming up. Check out the landing page in the announcements. I've got the link there. And in the next few days, I'm going to have it on my website, on social media. If you follow me on Facebook, it's already on Facebook. And then on the 28th, we're going to do a fundraiser for cystic fibrosis. It's free. It'll be broadcast on this channel. And all I ask is that you find it in your heart to give whatever you can for cystic fibrosis research, so that those little people, I know a little boy that has it, and I would love to see him grow up to be even older than I am now. And then of course, the 6-week breath mastery class. Those are the three big things. Let's look at the question here. Satish, hi, I've seen your videos and regularly practice Wim Hof method or breathing method and cold showers. However, I developed jelly beans in my toes. It keeps coming back. Any tips to avoid? So that's one of those things that I'm going to be putting in the update to my cold exposure book. So if you've already purchased my practical guide to cold training, I'm going to be talking about those types of things. But ultimately, when it comes to cold training, always just go easy. It's ultimately just go easy, and just really try to develop awareness. And this is something, I'm not saying you don't have any awareness at all, but what I am saying is this, oftentimes we are disconnected as human beings. We're disconnected from so much, right? Disconnected from nature, disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from our thoughts, disconnected from our emotions, and also disconnected from awareness of what sometimes we call it introspection, but also how, what is too much, right? Because a lot of times you get out in the cold, you lose the feeling, and it's not necessarily a bad thing whenever you go numb. It's not necessarily a great thing, right? And so there's a certain degree of awareness that you build over time. Ultimately, I would say, did you get it in your feet, Satish? So, and some people, that's where typically a lot of people get it. Just go easy. Ultimately, that's my biggest advice. And I'm going to give you more in-depth advice in the cold training update that will come out hopefully by August of this year. I've got to get it out earlier than my normal release time. My goal is to try to write a book or an older book every year. And September 29th happens to be happens to be my usual release date. And I don't have any reason for September 29th to be my release date other than that's when I released my very first, that was when I released the first edition of the cold training book. So every year, September 29th, I try to release something. So last year it was a practical guide to breath work. And that and I want to thank everybody, those of you guys who have purchased it, those of you guys who have given me reviews. If you haven't given me a positive review, please do. But I really want to thank you guys because it's been a very, very successful book. It's something that I brought some copies, and it's something that like, for instance, yesterday I was training. I did a training with just breath work. I did training at a drug rehab center. I wish I would have known about breath work whenever I was overcoming my addiction, which, it's been over a decade since I overcame that. But, it's something that we're changing the world, guys. It's really exciting. So, but yeah, Sadisha, I'm sorry, I get off topic. It's because I'm hungry, I guess. I'm going to have to order some food here in a minute. But yes, awesome, my friend. Just go easy. Don't beat yourself up. It's not like you should ever feel bad. And I'll just let you know, I've had it too, right? It's something that, a lot of cold trainers have gotten, and sometimes we don't even realize we have it. We think it's something else. And no, just go easy. Don't beat yourself up about it, and just be really conscious and aware. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here, guys. I'm going to have to hop off. I just want to do a quick, this is my shortest one I've ever, it's only 37 minutes. Normally I'm just like going on and on forever. But anyway, I don't know how much more battery life my cell phone has. Guys, thanks so much for being here. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. Head over to my website, jessecoomer.com. If you would like, subscribe to the newsletter. I don't spam. I promise I don't do a bunch of stuff. It's very rare that I send out newsletters because I'm always so busy that I don't get a chance to type them up. But I'll have all the links to everything I've just talked about in that next newsletter, which I plan to get out hopefully in the next week or two. So, guys, thanks so much. Auf Wiedersehen. Alex, watch it on the replay. We've been waiting for you this whole time, Alex. Guys, have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. And don't forget to go out there and be kind to one another.